Food. Look, there's so many material written on what to eat in a survival situation. I'm not here to replace that. All that I know is this. How many people here, by raise of your hand, have a year's worth of food? Not nearly enough. How about 6 months? 30 days? Okay, you guys are screwed. Food is the cheapest part of all of this. For now. Water's even cheaper. Yeah. Okay. This is not for you guys that already know everything and you've got it all worked out. You've got all your menus and everything. This is not for you. This is for everybody that didn't raise your hands on what you're going to do starting Monday and you're going to be done by Friday because it's cheap. How many people here have $100 to spend? Right now. Then go to the bank, draw out $100. Everybody. Then every single one of you on Monday can do this. I kid you not. Please don't take this lightly at all. Food is the answer. Because like I demonstrated before, we got lots of problems, but we can fix it, can't we? So what do we need? Time. We don't have time. Food buys you time. You are not going to live out of a 5-gallon pail of rice for very long. But you need to long enough to get your act together and start building. Once it's serious enough where we're all motivated in the same position, oh, it'll be all hands on deck. But it's only the ticket that you brought along with you that buys your ability to have choices, to make decisions, to decide. Because today, you don't have to leave the safety of your structure to go find food. And you know what? God bless you. If you don't have food and you come to my house, I'm going to try to feed you. But I am literally trading one day of my life for yours. That is a tough choice to make. God help you. If you find yourself into a situation where you did not prepare, I'm telling you 1 year. I don't think it's nearly enough. But I'm telling you 1 year. If you find yourself in a situation where you simply did not, when you could, God help you. Yes. However, you find yourself in a position where you tried, and for whatever reason, your circumstances, your system fell apart, and you find yourself in the hands of a fellow human being that is going to feed you. Guess what? He's giving you his life. You cannot repay them. There's not enough work that you can do. There is nothing that you can do to repay them, except for somehow, if God graces you the ability to save their life. You better have that in your perspective, because that's what I'll demand of you if you show up at my house. I don't want you as a servant. I want you as a citizen. If you must be servants, I'll try to make good use of you. I'll do my darndest and I'll try to figure it out. But who's your master? I am. Who's my master? Well, in this case, you're lucky. My master's God. Doesn't need servants of other men. It's obedient children. Look, this is what it's going to take. 1 year's worth of food. Monday, you start. It's easy. Sam's Club. They got big old 50-pound bags. They're $20 per bag. 100 pounds per person. Now, okay, now we're not talking about eating at the Grove Park Inn here. We're talking about Somali style. We're talking about 300 and 500 calorie a day diets. Life is sucking. But you're alive. And you have time. to put that mind and that heart and that spirit in unison and rebuild. No food, no ticket. I don't know how many times I've gone through this. Look, this is the inside group. Okay? You know what we need to be discussing? We need to be discussing how many people outside this room we can feed. We can't even feed the people in this room. Simple list. It used to cost about 120 bucks. It's now up about 180. It could clear about 200. But you're still talking about affordable. It's still affordable. You don't need to buy a nitrogen pack. You don't need to buy dehydrated. You can. And I do recommend a small amount of it. There are some advantages. Jan's got some rations back there that are dehydrated, I believe. The really, really cool advantage of that. You must, do not fail. Do not fail to secure all of this for every person in your house.
What are the last two items, please? No, we can't.
Beans, 30 pounds. Rice, 100 pounds. Oats, 30 pounds. Wheat, 30 pounds. It could be flour or, doesn't matter. Of course, flour is going to go bad a lot sooner than later, but you're going to be eating it sooner than later, so it's okay. Salt, 20 pounds. Sugar, 20 pounds. Spices, any, dry. Any dry. Please do spices. It really, you know MREs that they make for the military? That is not a smart meal. The real professionals never bring MREs in the field. Never. You strip them down. Never. They're heavy. They cannot sustain you. MREs are designed for a 3-day ration system. You put 3 of them, you get a 3-day pack. Special Forces, you got to turn that into 12 days, 24 days, 30 days. You strip them down. Okay? But here's the interesting thing. Well, why did they make them that way then? Because they recognize that the average 18, 19, 20-year-old with a rifle scared for his life needs one important thing to do what he's got to do. Morale. That's what the little M&M's pack is for. It's not because it's an amazing food that's going to help them fight harder and better. It's because it feels like home. It's a warm hug. It feels good to eat it. It takes you to another place for just a moment. That's what your spices are for. Make you feel good. You're going to be living off rice for a year, for crying out loud. You're going to be tired of it. Please try and figure out how you can do this a little different. Mix it up. Get wild. And seeds, 1/4 acre. Heirloom type. Non-hybrids. Food. This is where Jan comes in. The compact, lightweight ration. They are not cheap. They're $4 to $8 a piece. Dehydrated. Get 30 of them per person. They're not cheap. You do not have to get this. Here is the advantage of getting it. They take up very little space in the backpack. Very little space. You could jam a backpack full of these things. You could put them 30 days. But they got to be small and they got to be light. You want dehydrated. Do not put canned foods into a backpack. Wear you out. It's mostly water. Okay? The compact, lightweight ration is awesome. Mountain House Foods, they make all kinds of them. If you look at 30 days is what I recommend. And you know the reason why I pick out 30 days is because it's about as much as you can pack into a bag and be wild in a ditch somewhere. It's about the longest reasonable time that you can be in full bivouac and not have some reprieve for that. So there's no point in figuring out how to live longer than 30 days out of a backpack. So 30 days is your max. You're really planning on 2 or 3 days is all you really want to be exposed fully. 30 days is your max. If you're hardcore, if it's just like that, there's no safe haven and you got to hump for a long time and hide, well, then you better have enough.
Mountain House what?
Mountain House, yeah, James got a bunch of different parts. It should be dehydrated. You should be able to pick it up and say, wow, peperoncini, it's got to be like a feather. Really light, really small.
Does that mean these are more nutritious than the
oh, absolutely. They can be. They can be. Now, mind you, the philosophy that we're doing here, since we got to feed a lot of people really fast, is not quality. Please don't. It's raw quantity. You can make it quality later. You can add whatever you like to it later. Yes, sir.
On the page before, was that the quantity per person? Or
per year.
Per year.
It's not that much. No, but 30 pounds of beans is 3 big bags.
Yeah,
per person.
Per person?
It's
yes.
per person for 1 year.
Now, mind you, we're talking about a 300 to 500 calorie a day consumption. That is not very much. That's like having one little power bar a day. But you'll make it.
To preserve the beans in dry goods, a bay leaf in a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to cover storage. That's your job. Food, secondary line. Please take care of the other stuff first. Please do not go to these things first. Please do the other things first. In other words, if you haven't gotten all those little groovy rations, please don't even do this next. We're all big boys and big girls. We can do what we like. I'm just giving my recommendations. Okay. Secondary line is canned foods. Okay, they're heavy, but they're delicious in comparison to mice. And exactly, nice break. If you mix it up, you go ahead and have the discipline. Most people don't. Most people don't. You have the discipline to hold this stuff back for anniversary dinner, you know. I mean, exactly, Christmas, you know. Hold back, hold on to this stuff. It will help your mind. Keep it together. That's going to be the toughest. That's your frontier, is right here. You're going to tell you what's possible. And these are things to help you. Dehydrated, it's good. When you do dehydrated foods, they're expensive. You can do nitrogen pack. Nitrogen pack will last for 30 years. It's very, very expensive. About 6 months ago on Craigslist, I found a woman, a doctor, who prepared for Y2K, bought about 2 years worth of the most expensive nitrogen packed foods that you can buy. Very expensive, probably $4,500. You know, a whole pallet high of the stuff. And she was going to go travel around the country. She sold me the whole pallet for $200. Pay attention. Look for opportunities around you. Opportunities abound. Opportunities abound. Don't think, I got to solve this on Monday. Let's spend a bunch of money. Now, if you got nothing, you're against time. Go ahead and get what you need. But look for opportunities. Invite opportunity. You can find them. MREs. Don't recommend them, but they're great for morale. They're easy. It's one of those days where life is sucking. You got blisters all over your body. You're tired. You're beat up, and you just want to eat. Crack open an MRE. Keep the kids away from them. They'll tear them up the next day, the next day, the next day. Your kids will eat MREs like crazy. Keep them away from your kids. They'll devastate them. And you'll wish, lock and key. Safe, guns, MREs.